Greetings, and welcome to another edition of Runescape Weekly. We're going to go right into the live show here, so stand by. Transitioning here in 3. Actually, let me just quickly adjust the date. It's the 30th, right? Right.
It is.
We get a few things correct this show. Maybe I could do it in one take this time, huh? Maybe? Probably not. Maybe. Let me get all the documents open as well.
I'll be ready for the beginning, by the way.
Alright, cool. I will address you after Pyrnassius. And, yeah, alright, cool. Good stuff. And 3, 2, 1. You're listening to Runescape Weekly for November 30th, 2018. I'm your host, Magebit, with over 17 years of RuneScape experience. Joining me today is Pyrnassius and Derpdragon. And on today's show, Needle Skips discussion, mining and smithing masterwork changes, Mod Timbo Vital Sparks changes, Bounty Hunter removal work in progress, where do you see RuneScape in 5 years, 5 years later? Slimed by Jagex. Let's fix some stuff. A feel-good, hard-on, right-on-the-spot, noob me up, lube me up, good time story. I was only looking for a misdemeanor, actually, officer. And listener comment. Thank you for tuning into this edition of RuneScape Weekly, and enjoy the show. Holy crap. I can't believe I managed to say that in one take.
I want to say a big congratulations that you actually got the feel good one all in one hit and didn't stuff it up.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed.
That was impressive, that one.
Oh, that was not easy to do. Anyway,
and we didn't even practice beforehand.
Didn't even practice. I just tossed it right in there. What the heck have I been doing? Been playing a lot of RuneScape. I've been kind of just taking this last week of November to really just kind of make money, lay low, because December 1st kicks off, and I'm going in for that Master of All hunt again. It's gonna really just be those last 3 pets I'm gonna try for. It's so much RNG, it's probably not gonna happen, but I'm gonna really try again. I've got a ton of planks left over from 120 construction, so that's, that's sorted.
That sucks that you didn't get that pet.
I know. What is 80 million construction XP and I didn't get the pet. Then 120 dungeoneering, so that's a thing. So maybe with the 120 threshold I'll have better luck with that.
I reckon it lowers personally. I reckon your highest chance is below 99. Yeah, next best is between 99 and 120. I reckon the lowest threshold is between 120 and 200. I really do.
I don't know.
I've been chasing the fire-making pet. I'm sitting on over 40 mil for the month. Mm-hmm. Still nothing. And I'm watching all these level, 80s and 85s and 90s. They're dropping left, right, and center. And there's 3 of us down there all, closing on 120, or one guy closing on 200 mil. We've been down there all month. None of us have got it.
That's the power of RNG. As I'm saying, it's 3 pets, 1 title, and so much RNG. So I may not get the title. It's probably won't get the title, but I'm gonna make it my focus of December. So I'll be doing a lot of mixing up between those 3 things in December.
Look out for Magebit's new video, 3 pets and a title.
Yeah, that's going to be my... that's going to be my... Yeah, that's not going to be on YouTube. That's going to be my stream focus for December, though, is going to be those 3 pets. Going to be pet hunting again. What are you going to be up to, Pern?
Pretty much the same. I want to get this fire-making pet, then I'll just have prayer left over.
Hey, Snellcat.
So what has been really good is my last 2 pets obviously are pretty much fully AFK, so they're the ones I can do when I'm sitting in the family room with the kids. Other than that, I've just been having fun. I'm just ticking off a few of the achievements here and there. Managed to pick up the Harlequin cow.
Nice.
So I only have the Royal Dragon, the Yak. Actually, I think it's only the Royal Dragon and the Yak that I need the Goldens for now. So closing in on that. So yeah, just having a lot of fun. I mean, doing a lot of the farming. I still love the player-owned farm. 2.5 months in.
Same.
Still engaging with it several times a day. I think that's got to be the update of probably the decade for myself.
It's up there.
Enjoyed the quest, which we'll go into obviously earlier. And yeah, just having fun basically. Not making a whole lot of money, but just looking at just enjoying myself and having fun.
Cool. And Derpdragon, how you been doing?
I've been good, still sticking with old school mostly, but I did try out the mining smithing beta.
Trying the mining smithing beta. Cool. What have you been up to in old school? We've been wanting to talk about some old school stuff. So, what's been going on?
Been grinding to try to get gear for Raids 1. The Chambers of Zarek. I'm probably a week and a half, 2 weeks off of getting enough gear to solo.
Cool. Now, that obviously means absolutely nothing to me, but I hope to someday understand these things. I was looking at... Yes?
No, I was going to say, can I actually put my hand up and make an admission here?
Sure.
Hello all, my name is Pyrnassius, and I recently downloaded OSRS on my iPad.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that old school RuneScape is getting the success that it deserves because of its content.
Is the first step.
Yeah, it's the farming guild looks delicious.
Yeah. I mean, I've never really had a problem with old school. More just the criticisms I always have for this game. It's a fun little game. The graphics I don't like, the combat system I don't like, but overall it is a fun game. So
it's not a bad game.
Just some of the stuff that they're bringing in over there, they're really, they're hitting the bullseye on most of their updates. So, it's great to see. I just wish that we could get rid of the toxicity between the two communities. And, we all want success. We all want Jagex to keep going so we can all keep playing our games. And, it's hopefully that'll start,
Hopefully that will wane over time as they slowly forge their own identity. And I think that's kind of they are
starting to happen now. Yeah, especially with their own channel and all that type of stuff and the more mods. And I think we should hopefully over the next year or two we'll see that sort of fade away of hostilities between the two games.
I hope so. Now that they're really fledging out on their own, really holding their own numbers too. Like, I don't think that they will need to be as hostile towards us anymore. But time will tell. Let's get into some PSAs real quick here. First up, the achievement competition that we've got running is going to be finalizing. So if you've been participating in that, make sure you get your final rune scores into either myself, Pyrnassius, or Killer Bunny so that it can be logged. The final date to do that is Monday the 4th at Game Reset. So make sure if you are participating in that, you do so by then. So get it in this weekend or by Monday at the very latest Game Reset. It's very important you do so or you will not be counted. Or you'll be counted at your last recorded score at the very least, which may, may hinder you. We've already had one person finalize their scores. As of right now, we have, I can read what we have going on as far as the rankings. The rankings have not changed very much from where we last talked about them.
Yeah, I'll quickly put mine in for you, but I've still got a couple coming, so there's mine in chat for you.
All right, let me see where we got. So you're at an even 18,000 now, huh?
Which was my goal for the end of the month to hit 18,000.
Nice. So you're just at a nice even 18,000. Cool. And you started at 16,185. Good stuff. Right now, the top to beat, calculator-wise, I can give everyone kind of an idea, is if you want to dethrone first place, poor Rhino, I'm putting him on blast right now, basically telling everyone what they need to dethrone to be on first. So, first place holdings right now, is this is the mistake of clocking in early. 3,320 is the top earner right now. So 3,320, yeah, just decimating the second place, being Killer Bunny with 2,480, followed by Gafandriula with 1,650. I haven't actually calculated yours now. You might have just bumped yourself up significantly there. 16,185 minus 18,000. You're 1,815 now, so that brings you up to that. Yeah, that would bring you up to third place. Granted, Gafandriel hasn't moved at all, which I doubt is true.
Yeah, and so Thieves as well.
Yeah.
He'll be moving up.
So yeah, there's
logged back in.
things will shuffle around as well as other people report in and whatnot. So again, report your scores. There's you have until Monday at 000 UTC. Perm, would you take the next PSA for me real quick while I take a sip of water?
I will. This is Dungeoneering weekend, so don't forget this is the first of the winter weekends that we are getting every year. This one is Elite Dungeons and Dungeoneering. And just straight from the website, basically, I'll read from that. The winter weekends have finally arrived, and with that comes 6 weeks of bonuses across different activities for RuneScape. Note, there are no Iron Man restrictions whatsoever for all of the winter weekends. So more watering down of the Iron Men. They're sort of rusty men now, I'd say. They're covered in that much water.
Thank you very much for the subscription, Chem Twitch. I really appreciate it. Sorry, Pern, for the interruption.
No, that's okay. So for the entire duration of winter weekends, which do finish on the 7th of January, player-owned ports will give you 25 voyages per day instead of 15. All player-owned port voyages will return 30% extra resources or trade goods. You have the ability to get the barmaid special voyages on Saturdays and Sundays as well as on the regular Thursdays. And on to this weekend, so basically starting at 12 o'clock UTC, going till Monday, 12 o'clock UTC. In Dungeoneering and Elite Dungeons, you will get double Dungeoneering tokens will be earned from both Dungeoneering and Elite Dungeons. In Elite Dungeons, you will get lore book rates doubled, 25% extra Slayer XP from dungeon NPCs, 1 extra 292 material whenever the material is a hit on the drop table, and 1 free death per run, which will work in both story mode and normal runs. And in standard Dungeoneering, there will be no experience penalty on death. And this will expire on... Yep. And this will this will expire on December 3rd. So that double Dungeoneering's tokens, especially for those out there who are hunting for for your achievements where you have to upgrade all your rings, those Dungeoneering tokens will be very important for you.
Yes. Excellent. Yeah, and getting into those dungeons to get that pet is all I want. Plus,
Snailcat just asks while we are on Dungeoneering, have you 20 yet?
Yes, I have officially hit the 120 mark. It's over. Well, I mean, it's not over because I need the pet, but it's over as far as it's finally officially 120. My only other official 120 I need is Slayer now. Go ahead.
Mage will get the pet at 355 million XP in Dungeoneering.
Oh, don't say that. I don't want to hear that. and officially, thank you, Chemwitch. But yes, I really hope to get the pet this weekend. I'm going to be bold, brass, and say that and be like, yes, I hope to get it this weekend. That's my plan. Now that I'm 120, I plan on putting that threshold to good use. I have full confidence. That's the word I'm looking for. Full confidence in the threshold. Anyway, what do we got going on here? Needle skips discussion? Has everyone done needle skips? Derp, have you done needle skips?
I watched the second half of you do it.
Okay, that's
that
good
means
enough.
anything.
Good enough. All right, so let's talk about needle skips then. It has been probably my favorite quest of the year. Not that I've had many to choose from.
3.
And honestly, I think it might be the only quest I've done this year.
You did your Yuri quest?
Yeah. Which one was that?
That's the Yuri quest, the one where they just gave you nothing and you just had to...
Shows how much I remembered it.
Yeah, no, you're right. Quest.
I
You,
must
you,
have
you
done
sort
it.
of had to cut down that tree. Yeah, you did it because we talked about it.
Yeah, I must
I
have done
loved it because there's no information whatsoever.
Yeah, I did it then.
Go and do it. Yeah, it was a really good
So
one.
that one was good, I guess, but I don't remember it. So that's points against it, I suppose. I'm gonna try some Elite Dungeon. Good luck. There is pet chance for it if you're interested. I'm down if there's pet chance, as long as there's pet chance. Let's see here. So
yeah.
let's talk. Let's talk about this quest here. Needle skips. I'll let you take off first, Pern, since you are the official quest master here.
Absolutely brilliant quest. Again, didn't get a whole lot of information. Just go out to the Piscatoris area and look out there, and that little addition that they've put onto the land out there. First up, graphics team. Hats off to you guys. It looks absolutely beautiful.
One artist, I believe, did this.
One
environment artist, I think, or was this? Never mind. I lied.
No. Oh, okay.
I was thinking of the one environment artist did the Christmas event, which I was very impressed with.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So basically, I mean, the trees, everything just looks spectacular out there. The whole start of the quest, what I loved about it too is how enclosed it was. It was, basically the story of three people, and they broke it into the three chapters, and you sort of saw each side of that story through the eyes of those three characters. And it was really, really interesting the way they did it. There's a mysterious body laying beside the needle, so it's obviously a murder mystery quest. We have to work out what happens. I'm going to admit I was very hesitant about when they said, you just type in words and you've got to sort of unlock it by that. I wasn't sure how that was going to work.
Interesting concept. Yeah,
it was, and I must say it worked really well.
I wasn't sure how they were going to present it to us either, and the way that they did do it, I was pros and cons. Initially, I thought the use of the needle was well done. Partially, like the way it brought up the interface was good to put the words in. One thing struck me a little off-putting. I was not able, and this was just maybe me personally, I was not able to grasp initially or intuitively, I had to kind of ask for help, that the storyline was placed in any sort of chronological order. I was not really able to figure that out. Like the little like chiclets inside the window, those little like buttons you could press for story. I couldn't really figure out what order I was supposed to like read those in.
Well, I mean, but that was the beauty of it. There wasn't a real order. I think everyone would get a different experience depending on the words that you typed in. But I mean, that just shows what a masterpiece of writing this was by Mod Osborne, is that if you put in the last ones first, you saw that memory, and then you went back to the second memory and you jumped forward to the fourth memory. They still all tied together.
Yeah.
You didn't lose anything by it doing that. And that's when I saw that, I thought, oh, this is going to be crap. But when I saw how it all still tied together, even though I filled sort of some of the later ones earlier than the sort of first and second ones, it just went really, really smoothly. And, you sort of run down to the house and I'm clicking on why isn't the fireplace? And I thought, oh, hang on, type it in. So type in fireplace, type in fire, all those sort of words. Anything that was in that house, I was typing in, you saw Primrose there, all that story, you're just going through and typing the words. By the third story, basically, I was just going through what they were saying and, dropping your ands and ifs and buts and things, but just typing in virtually everything that they were doing. And that opened just about everything up for me. One of the words I had trouble with was plagiarism.
Okay.
Because I don't think it actually said plagiarism anywhere, but I'm sitting there when they said he was accused of copying things. So I typed, plagiarism, and obviously that unlocked one of the ones. But overall, really, I couldn't fault this quest. It was just that nice little personal locked in that one.
What I liked about it is they took one area and they managed to pack a 3.5 hour quest into one tiny area.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can say that quest could take 20 minutes.
Well, that's what I said when I read it. I started about 10:15 because I saw it said short. So I thought, beauty,
Me too.
30 minutes, an hour at most. It was almost 1 o'clock by the time I finished it. Now, I didn't realize that when you got the last word, even though it sort of come up about the needle, that you could just go back and do that and go. I was hunting for all the words, which worked out good for myself anyway, because as a Master Quest Cape holder, to get the Master Quest Cape back is not just finish the quest, you did have to find all those words anyway.
Yes.
So I think that worked out for me. When they moved into the second story of Primrose and just seeing, the magic where, whatever her dad had put on the books, and, Thok appears and Hannibus and Jilly Willikers. And just to hear Jilly Willikers, how he's just sort of appeared into the game for us. But there's backstory. He was a kid's book back in the old days.
Yeah.
Just those little touches that they did.
Yeah.
In that type of thing was, as I said, it was just absolutely brilliant. I could not fault it. Just the whole thing. I mean, obviously, the rewards, again, just lamps. I hate lamps as rewards, but in all honesty, if they gave me nothing for this, I would have been happy, because that was, that actual quest was a reward in itself.
Yeah. It was a good time, especially if you're into... you have to be in the mindset to want that experience. That quest is all about wanting that experience. If you don't want it, you don't have to have it. If you want to just skip that experience and get the quest points, get it out of the way, you can. That's what I like about this quest. It's you can brute force right through it, or you can have the experience. And Odd Osborne was able to give that to both sides of the spectrum. You have... This quest is perfect for questers, and this quest is perfect for spacebar questers. Yep,
and that was what was so perfect about it. I couldn't find fault. And as you said, for those who didn't want to sit there and have to go through it all, if you're not a Master Quest Cape hunter, you can type in 3 words and finish the quest.
Yeah,
that's if you want to do. What I also loved, the needle. It's an elder artifact. It's such an important sort of byproduct of the gods, yet they've managed to bring it in, introduce it to us, put us in this area, tell a full story around it and what it does and things like that.
Yeah, we got this.
It doesn't really affect anything else in the world. It doesn't have to. They've done a complete story around it. You can just leave it there now. You don't have to hold it like the measure that we've got in our bank and, Stoner Jazz, where it's a whole series where we had to go around and stop gods from destroying the world and things with it. It's bang, it's there, it's done.
There's potential for
just
more.
All round.
You never know.
There's potential there if they want to, but you never have to touch it again.
Yep.
I just really do think spot on. This is, I was sort of thinking when I finished it, sort of a 4.5 out of 5. But as I sat back and really thought about it, it is a 5 out of 5 quest. I don't think they did anything wrong. You didn't have to have... you could get hand-holding if you want to, but you didn't have to. Everything was explained. You could just follow straight through the whole storyline pretty logically and get everything done and unlocked.
Yeah. I agree with that. Doing it blind, I have to say I was surprised at the number of chapters. I really expected there to be 1 chapter because it was marked as short, right?
Yes.
So I was like, okay, cool, I'm done. And then it was like chapter 2. So I was like, and then I finished chapter 2 and I was like, okay, I'm done. And then and that went on for like 4 times. And I was like, this quest is being way too modest about its length.
But also, what I also loved is when you open up your interface and you had the little heads down below, you could see, okay, I've completed that one. I know all the words there, and you could go through, and just by the titles of the of what those chapters inside those chapters were, it sort of helped you a lot. So, the Last Dragon writer, so Hannibus, the lizard, and all that type of stuff, or Lizard Man, books, you could sort of go through and sort of, okay, that's all about that type of stuff. And there, you can sort of type in all those, and it really helped you out in that way as well.
Yeah. I welcome more experimental quests like this in the future. I think that they should really put Maud Osborne on more projects like this. Keep him away
just
from...
put him on a retainer for quests and keep him and just... Yeah.
Keep him away from anything that affects game mechanics and balancing, and just let him write stories, because he's amazing at story writing and stuff like this.
Triple his pay, give him his own graphics team, and just let him go to work.
Yep. I agree. He's amazing at lore and writing. Anyway, shall we move along? Or Derp, did you want to add anything there? We good?
No, I think I've made it pretty well known what I think about quests.
Yeah.
But
I figured you didn't want to.
when I
score-wise, I made. Oh, sorry.
When I saw the quest and like how deep yet like self-contained it was, I was like, Pern's gonna love this. This is the perfect update for Pern.
Yeah,
it was.
And I was waiting for your feedback on it as well, because as much as I enjoyed it, I figured you'd probably were going to enjoy it more than I was going to enjoy it.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't do it until I think the Thursday or Friday, because I'd had a pretty tough week last week, and I thought, actually, I don't think I did it till Saturday. I think it was Saturday night I did it. Because I just had a shocking week, and I didn't want to do it when I was, not in the mood. I'm really glad I waited till the Saturday to do it, because I just loved it.
Anytime Maud Osborne goes up for a role in creative design, just bring up bank bidders. Exactly.
Hey, I actually wanted that. I wanted to try that.
I
like that idea.
It's not the worst idea in the world. I think it's gimmicky, so I'm gonna make fun of it.
To me, it was better than the Bank of You that a lot of people got excited about.
The Church of You was
Church of You, I should say, yeah.
Was narcissistic as hell. I just wanted a simulation management game, and I would have taken it in any form whatsoever.
You just wanted to walk past and see people getting down on their knees, bowing before you.
I mean, isn't that why we have a clan? No. Anyway, let's move along to the mining and smithing rework. There's an update to the Masterwork armor design that I wanted to talk about, because I'm not 100% thrilled about it, but it's what it is. I don't think that the team really have too much control over this decision, so I don't think it's worth belaboring the point too much, but it might be worth providing some feedback, maybe in the direction that they're driving us in, and not trying to fight it too hard, because again, I don't think it's in their hands. Anyway, based on feedback from the beta, we've made some changes and improvements to Masterwork, especially trimmed Masterwork armor. Masterwork armor is tier 90 power armor and made entirely with smithing. Trimmed Masterwork armor is tier 92 power armor and made by combining Masterwork armor with Torva and Malevolent armor. You can read the details by clicking on this link. We've already gone over 800,000 times, so I'm going to continue on here. The most important thing we want to know is this armor good enough to justify how difficult it is to get? The trim set effect is available on the beta to try out right now. Customization is not implemented in the beta right now yet, though, but that's not important. That's merely, I think, cosmetic. TLER, Masterwork armor is significantly cheaper to make. It's down from 1,200 to 600. Don't like that. Masterwork. Yep. Go ahead.
If I can, I understand why you don't like it, because hey, it's going to sort of devalue it a little bit. I would say that it probably brings it down to a fair price where people will actually buy it from us. The one thing I was always worried about this is
Too
we
expensive.
make it, but there's just going to be no market to justify the cost of it.
Fair. Yeah, like I said, I'm not fighting these changes. I just don't like them.
Yeah.
What I see from this is not the price, but the time to make it is now half.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
right?
I believe Derp
Well, it
is
would be,
correct.
yeah, 'cause it's only 600 now. Yeah.
This is well, it's both. It's both. The materials required are halved, so it's time and materials.
Yeah, so basically rather than 12 hours, you're going to make it in 6 hours now.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys went into the mining smithing beta, but did you get to like reheating and the new smithing mechanic?
Yeah, with the clicking on it with coal and whatnot.
Yeah, I thought that stuff was really fun.
Yeah.
But that's like 3 steps out of the 1200 you had to do
For Masterwork.
Plus, that's just getting up to the Masterwork.
Yeah.
Like, it's the first step.
If you want to do Masterwork.
Yeah. So I felt lessening the time of, getting to that point. So having it is awesome, I think. I think they could even extend the amount of time that smithing it takes with the new smithing mechanics, because that stuff was fun, in my opinion.
Yeah. Like, my issue was the point of making Masterwork I don't have a problem with having the materials, but I like the time investment on the behalf of the smith, because I don't want this coming into the game super fast. That was more my issue.
I still think 6 hours, though, is...
6 hours for me is nothing.
It's nothing, but for 99% of the other players, even 6 hours is a long investment, considering the average playing time is 2 hours a day for people.
Yeah, but for the 1% who is going to be making this, it's not. I just feel like the people who want to do Masterwork,
I think...
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Good.
I think that it's good that they halved it, but like I said, I agree with you that it should be a huge time investment. I think they could double, triple, like, I think they should make like I said, the smithing part of it, because reheating, you click reheat, wait for like 3 seconds, and then you're done. That's all you have to interact with that mechanic, like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
So I think they could make that like so much more of it, and it would be more enjoyable. That's the fun part.
Either way, this isn't even
at a Magex screen.
This isn't even my major complaint, so buckle up. Prim Masterwork armor has had a set effect which turns 50% of damage received into a damage over time effect for the next 6 seconds to spread out damage and make it easier to deal with. You can test this out in the beta right now. This is what pisses me off the most. It's power armor with a tank effect.
But that's going to make it actually useful to people.
But it doesn't make any fucking sense. It's...
damn. I haven't seen that.
I actually like this idea.
It's a sweet set effect, but it belongs on tank armor. It doesn't belong on power armor.
If it applies to type list, stuff like so much power at Telos and things.
I haven't actually taken a look at the new Fally look. I'm sorry, Derp. I didn't mean to.
I was saying if the damage reduction applies to type list damage, like so much power at Telos, stuff like that. I
doubt
think.
It. But maybe.
I mean, nobody melees Telos anyways.
Yeah.
So, but I know they melee Solak, and I think he has some type list. I know David says you're required to bring a melee switch you can attack both hands and legs at once.
Interesting.
That's what I do love about this, though, is as you said. I mean, it is sort of it is more of a tank type thing, but spreading that damage, it's going to hopefully help move a little bit away from Magecscape back into sort of those other areas. And with something like this, I do think it makes this, it does give a good value to this armor. And I think it may make it now. The one thing I was always worried about this is we are Magecscape. Everything's all about magic. Even if we get this in and it's great armor, if people aren't going to use it because magic is still 30% better than everything else, but with something like this, for people who aren't sort of the PVM legends and can just sit there and soak up all that damage, it is going to help them out. You know, you can imagine going to Araxi and now doing that 300% enraged and such with melee, because that damage is now damage over time. So you have time to eat and keep up with her.
I need to actually test it out, but I'm kind of with Mage on this is kind of useless. Nobody's using melee armor anyway for anything but Slayer tasks, and you don't need a damage reduction for Slayer tasks.
I do. Oh, not for Slayer, but I would use this.
I might kill it for Rax. Yeah, I might use this for Rax, but beyond that,
that's true. People do melee Rax. Yeah,
that's what I thought, and I can't get up to the 300%.
That is true. Actually,
so this will make it useful for Rax for me.
This will make it useful for Rax for everyone, assuming that people are going for speed kills. I know they'd melee sometimes in Berserk.
Tier 92 armor on Rax is like kind of a waste of money, though.
My question is,
you're looking for training wheels.
What does it mean? Like 50% of the damage received into a dot over the next 6 seconds. Does this mean because you take damage more than once every 6 seconds? So do you just get a new dot every 0.7 seconds or whatever?
Yeah.
So your buff bar is filled with 7 or 8 damage over times from this armor.
Well, she hits every 2.4, doesn't she?
I was just thinking in general where you're taking damage.
Yeah. That's interesting to think
of.
Well,
plus, if it's minion path, you're going to be getting hit even more.
That's
if minion path's open, like, I don't know how that works. I'd have to test it out.
Which turns 50%, has a set effect, which turns 50% of the damage received into it. I guess it just takes 50% of the damage you receive and just tosses it into a pool that slowly just drips.
That slowly builds up?
Yeah.
So eventually you just have, what? Max
9,000 damage.
2.14 bill damage stacked up.
Yeah, you're just slowly taking that. That kind of sounds like how I live my life.
Like,
that's actually not a bad point.
Would that actually be a negative then? Because I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how that works. Because
I'd have to see it in action.
If I can just pull out something that
the armor
Latecomers
set. Yeah, go ahead. Read his stuff.
The armor set lets you survive a green attack from the Kelphite King with a spirit shield, so it's worthwhile.
Interesting.
I mean, you can cancel greens with people solo it. Use stun to cancel the mechanic. So
that's if you're good at doing it. If you're someone like me who's not quick at those things.
If you're not good at PVM, you're not going to be able to solo the Kelphite King anyway.
True. Anyway, continuing on here. So finally, the Trim Masterwork armor will also have the option to customize it, which will make it permanently untradeable for a 50% slower degrading rate and no degrading or charge loss while on Slayer or Reaper tasks as well.
I like that too.
It's not 100% guaranteed on this option, though. It might be too strong, so they're still on the table with that one.
Which
I don't like the permanently untradeable. If you could switch it back, that would be. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to.
Too OP if you could switch it back and forth.
Yeah. I like it because it means you're gonna get this permanent 50% degrading and charge loss, but you've got to commit to you're gonna have this armor and that is
forever.
It.
Okay.
And if you want to get rid of it, well, you can either siphon it or disassemble it, whatever. But yeah, no, I like that option because it's gonna make people think: do you want to permanently hold this stuff? And I would say yes to myself. I would just get a set and that's mine forever. Bang, I don't care. But it sort of makes that,
I think you should. So if we go with what I said about being able to change it back, there should be a huge cost, like a couple mil, for making it tradable or making it untradeable. But if you leave it permanently untradeable, I think it should become degrade to dust.
I would think if they did something like that, it would have to be a hell of a cost to redo it in with invention parts and some really rare invention parts if you want to redo that.
I think it's balanced appropriately.
Yeah, I like it the way it is personally, but yeah.
Is it...
For once, I agree with Jagex.
I think it should be... What's the customized 99? Like 99 smithing should be a requirement to do that to it. Is that
pretty?
Is that how it is?
Yeah, I mean, to even make the stuff, you need to be 99. Yeah.
99. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's good.
There's some frequently asked questions here, or at least there's one long frequently asked question. Why did you put a tank set effect on power armor? All right, here we go. So right now, the current balance situation is that we can't just add more killing power to the top end to increase kill speeds. I'm not happy about this either, but it's going to require some difficult decisions and take some time to fix as a game whole. So for now, we just need to do it and use the other beneficial effects instead. Edit. To expand on this point, since it seems to be everyone's primary concern, the current design of Slayer and bosses in the game means that economy is extremely sensitive to small increases in damage dealt at the top end. Both increasing the number of players who can efficiently farm high-end bosses, especially higher in Rages of Telos, and allowing the player who can already farm these bosses to farm even faster can devastate the economy. These bosses have drop tables which are so profitable and so generous that a 10% increase in kill speed will essentially crash everything in that drop table by 10% and cause gold to inflate by 10%, resulting in no net gain of money for bosses and punishing everyone else. David. I'm oversimplifying that, but that would be the rough impact. There are ways to dig ourselves out of this hole, but they require a coordinated strategy across gear and combat content to fix. As a couple of examples, we could accept the increased drop quantities and result inflation, buff skilling to compensate, and put exponentially more expensive gold sinks into the game to deal with. Another would be that better weapons allow you to kill higher tier bosses, but don't increase kill speed on lower tier bosses, like the way hardness and penetration work in the new mining. So good gear is mandatory for new content, but balanced for old content. The point here, though, is that fixing this problem is more complex than something that I can just hack into mining and smithing right now. I'll take investigation research, possibly polling, possibly making sweeping changes to old content. I agree that we shouldn't be in this situation, but we are, and in 2019 I want to look into dealing with it. First, though, I need to get mining and smithing finished. I think that's a fair way to put that.
And it's a good point about the economy. Hopefully with all the salvage that we're getting with mining and smithing, we can get that in on all the other drops as well, from wood cutting and farming and everything. I really hope that this does sort of all go forward and goes well for them.
What I took away from this is apparently hardness and penetration is now in mining.
Yes.
Those
were the two most important new mechanics. I can't believe you've taken this long to realize.
I'd never looked into
We had a good laugh about this when they first brought it out.
Oh yes.
Our childish minds were just going berserk.
I must have missed that one. I've missed all the memes already. Damn.
Wow, Winds of the Past is like having a hardcore argument with Mod Jack about Winds of the Past. Was also talking on the forums, I believe, about the slime event earlier. They just lots of things to say. Anyway, so that's that. That's all I really had to say. I'm not thrilled about the changes, but I understand why we are where we are, and it's mainly because of where combat has taken itself, and it kind of just needs to be corrected first. But Mod Jack is, he needs to finish mining and smithing first. I agree with that.
I agree with that, but I really don't like the mindset of, well, we've already, gone through with it, so it's too late. That's the reason their engine is still garbage. That's the reason, they just keep piling up more and more and making it harder and harder to, fix anything.
As far as engine work goes, I agree. The more and more you pile on top of that, the harder it gets to fix. Something like a set effect can be easily undone in the future when we get around to undoing
Yeah, I
them.
agree. Yeah, I agree in this particular case, especially with he's been on the mining and smithing.
Undoing what combat has done to the economy, though, is going to take years. It is taking years. That's what the 5-year skilling plan is basically about, is undoing what combat has done to the skilling economy and basically being able to rebalance the economy so when you add 10% damage, it doesn't destroy the economy every time you add 10% damage. Go ahead.
Where did it start? Like, I'm trying to think of something. Like,
that's a good question.
I can't think of a boss. Queen Black Dragon.
I think around
a huge one.
I think
yeah.
around the Queen Black Dragon, yeah.
I mean, but then Calfight King was somewhere around after there, and
But
that was
the
actually
Queen
right
Black
after the release of
Dragon
EOC.
was the first boss to really drop like noted like potions and herbs and stuff like that.
And was she the first boss after
That was
EOC?
a long. No. I was Calfight King was.
Okay.
I think she was 2012. I think.
Yeah.
That's when EOC come out.
Wait,
Hang on.
2011 then. She was like
Okay.
2010 to 2012, somewhere in
I
there.
remember it coming out because I was watching videos, because it was like my dream to be able to get up and have a chance to get to that point. But yeah, I can't remember when it was now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
all I remember is not being able to get access to that sweet royal crossbow.
There was her Calfight King didn't really have anything besides the Drygors that was of note. And then what else is there? I mean, obviously God Wars Dungeon 2 and Telos, but that's very recent.
The Queen Black Dragon launched in 2012, which
Before or after EOC?
that's
Before.
May of 2012.
So after.
What?
Well, let me see when EOC
EOC
launched.
come out, wasn't that January or was that November? Was it? I thought it was February or was it November?
I'll have to find out when.
Was it always an... I feel like I remember when it came out that it wasn't EOC. Maybe I'm crazy. I'm probably crazy. I'm always crazy.
Well, it happens all the time. Listen, I could have sworn RuneScape came out in 1999 for like a long time.
No, you're right. Because I remember RuneShark doing it, and they pretty
November.
much quit after. So she was just before. Because I remember RuneShark doing QBD, and they quit after EOC.
Yeah, she came out just before EOC.
Yeah. So there you go. Yep.
You're not crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I might be, but at least not about that.
Yeah,
Not on
not
his
about
part.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, yeah. So there was a brief period of time where you could fight the Queen Black Dragon without abilities. Good stuff. Anyway, back to the document. The documents. Pern, would you like to talk to us about these sigils and these sparks?
Yes.
I don't understand any of this nonsense.
Okay, well, they're basically the sparks that you got from the vital sparks that you got down in the new Slayer dungeon down in Menafos. So this comes from Mod Timbo, and it's called Splitting Limitless Golden Touch and Unsullied Sigils from Vital Sparks and Reducing Their Cost and Upkeep. Hey guys, we want to run some changes past you that we want to make with Vital Sparks and the sigils associated with them. Based on your feedback, we'll either make changes and then release it in the future or scrap what we've come up with. We've been having a discussion about the Sophanum Slayer Dungeon Sigils, Limitless Golden Touch and Unsullied, as we've been working on the Alchemical Onyx items, which is coming with a new sigil as well. We want to make some changes that make them less expensive to use and unties the price of the other two sigils from the cost of Limitless. Our plan is to create 3 new items: Limitless Sparks, Golden Touch Sparks, and Unsullied Sparks. These would be added to the drop tables of the Sophanum Slayer mobs. Golden Touch and Unsullied Sparks would be more common than Vital Sparks are dropped at the minute, with Limitless Sparks being dropped roughly the same as Vital Sparks, but a smidge more common. Existing Vital Sparks will remain and can be converted to the new Sparks. 1 Vital Spark would turn into 3 Golden Touch or 3 Unsullied Sparks, or 1 Limitless Spark. Vital Sparks will remain tradable and become a rare drop from Sophanum Slayer creatures. To create a new sigil from these sparks, it will now require only 500 sparks, down from 1,000 sparks. As a result, a freshly made sigil would now have 500 charges instead of 1,000 charges for the new ones currently. All sigils will still have 1,000 maximum charges. We hope that these changes, heavily influenced by your feedback in the past, sound good, so please let us know what you think. I want to be running more things like this past you in the future, although this isn't a promise. Hello, future Redditors who read this quote in the future.
I don't know what these are for. I guess the people have been hoarding these for... I don't know.
I just sell them whenever I get them. I know they make sigils. Dave tells me that... I can't remember which one it was. One of them's a really good one. But
Limitless.
Yeah, Limitless. I
believe.
Apparently there's a whole document right here. It absolutely blows my mind how Vital Spark sigils have been handled. How could anyone actually think that 3 vastly different sigils made from the same item could work? On one hand, you have a very good PVM sigil that top-tier PVM players are willing to pay top dollar for. You then have a sigil that is only worth it if you price of a charge is below a certain value. Finally, you have a super niche sigil that is only used for 2 Slayer tasks, and no one in their right mind would actually use this if the charge prices are high. So you basically have one sigil that completely outclasses the others, making it the only one that is actually worth using sparks on. What I propose is that vital sparks are removed completely and replaced with 3 different sparks, each with their own drop rate, so that they can be balanced individually. So that's what's happening here, basically. And then the current sparks, you can trade them in at those rates. Okay. So that's what's happening. All right.
Well,
it's based off of that initial
hoarded
feedback.
vital sparks is
What?
that whoever hoarded vital sparks
Right.
as of before this update probably made quite a profit, I think.
Well, that guy, whoever this person is, whoever made this infographic, just made a lot of money. Basically, who is it? Harry Cabbage.
Oh, that's our vitals is a limitless sigil down to 500 sparks to make.
I think so. Is that what it
They're
is?
going to move them all down to 500 sparks, but they're going to have their own sparks
Yes.
That makes it a lot more accessible. Because before it was, when I stopped
now.
playing,
1,000, yeah.
it was like 60 mil. Probably still around there. It was 60 mil to make. Now it'll
But don't
only
forget-
be like 30.
But you're only going to get half the charges too, don't forget. So it's gone from 1,000 charges to 500 charges.
That's what I'm saying. And now it's down to 30 mil, so it's not something only the top, like, people who can afford 60 mil for a sigil. Now it's only 30 mil. Quite significant. I've never even heard of the other two, and I don't know if they do. So I can't comment on the cost of those sparks.
Shall we continue along? I have a document here that's an early work in progress. It's about Bounty Hunter's final removal from the game. In red up top, I suppose I should read. This document is intended as an interface to lay out the current approach to removing Bounty Hunter from the game and redistributing its rewards. Anything in this document is subject to change and should not be taken as 100% guaranteed change to the game. Please suggest changes on this document, and the changes will be read and reviewed during the game jam, which is already happened. So again, there's the RuneScape official Discord if you want to suggest changes. Again, this is a living document. Changes are still happening to this, but this is the current state of Bounty Hunter removal. Shutting down Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter was a great design, a great idea in principle, I guess. Maybe. And great lengths were put in place to prevent the system from being gamed. However, upon release, that was not the case, with a large percentage of players selling kills for GP. This led to the system having massive nerfs to the rate which emblems could be obtained to protect the rewards and RuneScape as a whole. After inspection of the system and reading over potential fixes to the problem, both internally and from the community, it is clear that a system in which players have a large amount of control over the drop system of rewards will be, definition, largely gameable. So that's unfortunate, but it's a sad but true. Currently, this system is still farmed at a lower rate, but mostly by alts on low-level accounts. This is not a state at which it is acceptable to be left, and this project's purpose is to remove Bounty Hunter completely and to redistribute the rewards elsewhere in the game so that they can still be obtainable in a more controlled environment. Method for shutdown. The worlds currently flagged as Bounty Hunter worlds will be unflagged. This will effectively remove Bounty Hunter from the game when the worlds reboot. Rating and emblems. Rating. Rating will no longer be obtainable, but will forever be stored on the player. Players who have already unlocked the Revenant pet will keep that pet, and their matches for the ratings will be stored when Bounty Hunter is removed. So if you have a Revenant pet, basically, that will be discontinued and you'll have that forever. So you could have a rare item on your account.
I don't like that because, I mean, the ones who have that are the ones who have gamed the system.
I know. Basically, they've cheated.
That's you cheated and you get a rare pet.
Basically.
Pet.
Well, I mean, Pern, we can go game the system and get ourselves some pets.
Let's go.
I don't see the problem. Like, was that a reward or was that a chance to earn?
It's a reward for killing.
It's a reward, yeah.
Yeah. The more people you kill in the wilderness, your pet upgrades itself. It starts off as the lowest level Revenant.
And you get up to a Dragon Revenant, which, be awesome to have.
Yeah.
I wanted one of those, but I wasn't going to go and do Bounty Hunt.
Yeah, right.
Well,
but I mean,
it doesn't have anything to do with actual Revenant. I was going to suggest we could add it to their drop table, but...
Yes, if they did that, I'd be happy. Yeah.
Emblems. Emblems will not be removed. They will instead be awarded by Wilderness Slayer Master Vigora. Redistributing rewards. There will be two methods of obtaining Bounty Hunter rewards. One will be via new Slayer Masters that focus purely on Wilderness Slayer tasks. Another will be via Wilderness content. Wilderness Slayer Master Vigora. A new Slayer Master would be added to the Slayer Tower, Vigora, in his ghostly form. Vigora is currently in one of three places: the Slayer Tower, Edgeville Dungeon, or the Rogue's Castle. After this update, Vigora will always be visible in the Slayer Tower, and his placement in the tower will be moved to the throne on the first floor. His visibility status in Edgeville Dungeon and the Rogue's Castle would not change. Vigora would act exactly like existing Slayer Masters NPCs, with the exception that he only assigns monsters that are in the wilderness. If you get a task from Vigora, you would only gain Slayer XP, and your Slayer count would only go down if you were in the wilderness. Vigora would offer the same amount of Slayer points as Morvrin. What makes Vigora unique and why you should use Vigora is that upon completion of a Slayer task in the wilderness, the player would obtain or upgrade a Bounty Hunter emblem. For the emblem to upgrade, it must be on the player throughout the whole Slayer task. Otherwise, a Tier 1 emblem will be obtained. So if you didn't have an emblem, you would get one on completion. So I guess this is how you'd obtain your Revenant pet, basically, is from doing Slayer tasks.
Was the emblem for the pet, was it?
Yeah. You'd upgrade your emblem, I believe, and that unlocked the pet, I thought? I could be wrong. It might have been just through sheer kill count. New Slayer mobs include Revenant tasks, and special tasks is to kill all bosses in the wilderness without banking. New wilderness content includes a wilderness-only shared rare drop table. That sounds mildly interesting. A rare drop table that is only accessible via the wilderness content will be created to drop rare items. The rare drop table will scale to the difficulty of the content, so a new rare drop table different from the one outside of the wilderness. That sounds interesting. Locations: Wilderness Slayer mobs will scale to Slayer level. Rogue pickpocketing, Muddy Key. Items on the drop table will include Wilderness Hilt, which will be rare. An Adrenaline Crystal, uncommon to rare based on the amount dropped. Preserved Meat, which will be common. Fremnik Upgrade Patch, which will be uncommon. Revenant Drop Enhancer, rare. An Ancient Warrior Equipment Patch, uber rare. Bloodweed Seed, uncommon to rare depending on amount. And Brawler Gloves, uber rare. Of course, these are all things that you would have gotten from Bounty Hunter Reward Shop. These are now dropped. Wilderness Hilt, rare drop from any Wilderness Slayer monster. The chance to drop scales with the NPC Slayer level as well. The Wilderness only shared rare drop table has a link as well. I don't know if that link actually goes anywhere, though.
If I can jump in for a sec.
Yeah.
The Revenant Pet is a reward from Bounty Hunter. It can be unlocked from Bounty Hunter and Deathmatch Reward Shop for 4,000 Bounty Hunter points. So it's nothing to do with the emblem. You've got to actually unlock it with points. Yeah.
Okay. So unfortunately, that has to be either reallocated or it just goes away. That sucks. Okay. And
I like the idea of it being added to the drop table on the Revenant creatures, though.
I like that idea too. Unfortunately, you got to suggest it to them.
We will.
Large rune pouch. While rune crafting via the Abyss, players will obtain magical threads. Obtain enough of these threads, and with the right rune crafting level, the player can craft a rune pouch. The rate of obtaining threads would scale to the player's rune crafting level and be boosted using the demonic skull. A player with 99 rune crafting would obtain 100 threads in 8 hours or 6 hours if they are using the demonic skull. Due to the levels required to craft these, an Iron Man only level requirement will be added to the large pouch. Adrenaline crystals. Make tradable and add rare drop from any Wilderness Slayer monster the chance to drop scales with the level of the creature. Ancient Warriors equipment patch, rare drop from Revenants, Revenant only unique, not on the Chaos Elemental, and task only drops. It'll also drop via the rare drop table in the Wilderness. Revenant Pet, the Revenant Pet would be removed from the shop completely. Revenants have super rare chance to drop a pet item. This either unlocks the Revenant Imp or upgrades it to the next tier. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
So they already took your idea. They're psychic, Pern. It's in this document as well. They're psychic time travelers. Players who have already unlocked the pet and upgraded it via Bounty Hunter would retain that level of unlock. So that basically, if you've already cheated to unlock it, you can keep it. And if you want to unlock it, you can obtain it. Examining the Revenant Pet would display the player's Revenant kill count. If the player has a Bounty Hunter rating, they can opt in to display this. Brawling Gloves, already available elsewhere. No need to redistribute, just removed from the store. Tier 87 weapons. Convert the bandit camp to be a boss fight where players can take on the full force of the camp and 3 named bandits. Speedy Keith, Black Heather, and Donnie the Lad, which have a chance to drop T87 weapons. All 3 will work together and enlist the help of the bandits around them in the most difficult surface world boss fight the Wilderness has seen yet. Okay. Keep Iron Man restriction. Iron Men can decide if they will not affect their progression post-launch. Amulet of the Forsaken. And a super rare from Barrows. And a new reward shop item. A new reward shop item will be added that allows the player to convert Bounty Hunter points to Deathmatch points at a rate of 10 Bounty Hunter points to 1 Deathmatch point. This allows players a way of obtaining the Deathmatch rewards via Wilderness Slayer. Deathmatch rewards. Well, Deathmatch is not being changed in any way during this project since the rewards, such as the small rune pouch, are intrinsically linked. A second avenue of obtaining some of these rewards will be added as part of this project. Bounty Hunter Teleport. Remove and refund points. Small rune pouch. See large rune pouch. Ogre Flask. The Ogre Flask will be updated to be a 6-dose flask when filled and can be created using 10 robust glass, providing 1,000 crafting XP, so the XP per robust glass is the same. Revenant Drop Enhancer Preserved Meat and Superior Fremnic Armor will be on the Wilderness only shared drop table. There you have it. Again, this document, work in progress, subject to change. Thoughts? All right, good thoughts.
Yeah, I'm just yeah. I mean, it's never content I've ever played, so
I know,
I like
same.
the idea of now making the pets droppable via the revenants.
Yeah.
It may, I mean, doing some hunting. I mean, I love pet hunting. It might actually drag me out into the wilderness and take that risk of death to sort of fight revenants.
In my new Elder Rune armor that I can make for free.
Well, exactly right. I mean, then that type of armor where it is, it's a decent type of armor that, okay, if I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose.
Basically.
The faster Jagex updates to remove wildy PvP as it is right now, the better.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. We're in the 6th age, and we do have something about that coming up a little bit later. Do we put that one in, or we didn't put that one in?
I don't remember now.
No, we didn't put that one in. So
talk about
sorry,
it.
yes, we did.
Okay.
Yes, we did. It's the let's fix some stuff.
Okay. So this next post here is a fun one. It's where do you see RuneScape in 5 years? 5 years ago. So I figured we could just kind of, just paw through this, see if we can find some interesting thoughts from 5 years ago about people talking about the game back then, and see if how those thoughts resonate maybe today. See if there are any interesting.
I'll read the first one from El Capone, who says, honestly, what I suspect and dislike most, steeped in decay. Maybe even so much so it's left to nothing but a few thousand players. The population has declined so dramatically, and even looking at Google Trends for RuneScape and related terms has dropped to fractions of its former self. I worry about the game's future. Though such things tend to never inspire discussion, I feel it is legitimate and becoming more clear problems that ought to be. To accommodate being WoW-like, it would need to stop being browser-based and a lot more done about the game, requiring resources I just don't think are really there. At least not in the company of a willingness to do it on the company's part. Because, let's be honest, it wouldn't be a good allocation of such funds. Slayer Tasks is about a good a guess / predictions as more quests, and the same goes with skills. I don't know, these threads always degenerate into circle jerking or ideas that are already so likely they don't warrant much thought or discussion. If we're going to go down the brass tacks, I think the game will be dead or close to it, and if the trends continue, this much will be so. No one reads these threads for discussions, though.
Definitely. That's about where we are. How many players are online right now? Let's see here. RuneScape.
3.5. Wait, no, sorry, that's the Bounty Hunter world.
It's funny.
I'm going to say, well, he's right.
It's funny because my Chrome lagged for a second and it said 0 players online, and I was like, God damn it. There's 101,000 players online right now. We haven't seen those numbers in years.
Apricot RS, I love this. Whose tag is RS isn't pay to win. I suspect the game will be dead with no new players coming in. There'll be a small group of high-level players who will have to farm their own supplies because of no resources from lower-level players coming into the game.
My goodness. In case they remove it in the future. Could be wrong about... oh my goodness. Some of these people have some interesting theories here. Maybe I'm overestimating.
Actually...
Yeah. What?
There's one here. It says, it'll be a niche game. The decline of players will stop since most of the people that are still here are already high level. Of course, there will always be a small decline, but there will also be a small increase. My guess is the player base will stagnate around the 30 to 40 to 50k players. HTML and WebGL will keep growing and become more accessible. When it reaches a point where it becomes standard, RuneScape will probably be the only high-res browser-based MMORPG. There will be other games, but not on the same level as RuneScape. Jagex is releasing a lot of advanced and high-level content. They're actively listening to their player base and building a game for them. In my opinion, this player base will stay, and the game will be in a better place.
Smart. Someone with a brain.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Are you sure that wasn't
actually has a measured response?
Are you sure that wasn't posted 2 days ago?
No, 5 years ago.
Okay.
He only got 2 points for it. Everyone else has been upvoted. All the naysayers been upvoted. He's got 2 points.
Well, no one likes people who actually talk reasonably. You have to be outrageous one way or the other.
That's it.
In 5 years, RuneScape will be twice as much progress as it has in 2007. The population decline we observed was just scumbag botters getting banned. They're parasites. I like this guy.
I was reading that one too.
I like that.
And the fact that Jagex developed as much as it did while infested with parasites was impressive.
Gatsby saying, I like how all max players say there's no new players. It's like, man, not everyone's max. You'd be surprised how many players aren't. Yeah, I constantly am surprised how many players aren't. And it is refreshing constantly. Like, I'm always happy to know that there is still people out there that are not. And there are new players still out there as well. Like, tons of people who are just getting into the game. VR up too. That bitch is the last comment in here.
Well, guy says, it'll still be around. I suspect about the same population as now, if not a bit higher. I have noticed recently an influx of new players into the game recently, although it has not compensated for the hits by the bots, PvPers, and people switching to RSO7. But it's still hopeful. Trust me, you haven't played a dead game if you think RuneScape is dead.
Right, for real. Not even a dying game. Anyway, fun thread.
It's called a living game for a reason, yeah. But there's some interesting ones there.
All right, who's ready to get slimed by Jagex?
Winds of Night was.
This thread really just gets my goat. So, yes, coming from the RuneScape official forums by Winds of Night, says, slimed by Jagex. Good gravy. We've been slimed by Jagex again. How many times this year does this make that Jagex slimed RuneScape 3? Nary a word from Jagex about the issues experienced by some community who were unable to participate in the event on Sunday due to problems on Jagex's end that crashed computers all over Gillianor as folks were trying to teleport to the slime is of the essence event. Nothing, nada, no sorry, no whoops, no nothing, not even a my bad. Okay, we get it. At the reset, the event was reset and folks could attend the event without further problems. After all, it wasn't the event was someone's pet project where they would sound the company-wide red alert alarm to get a problem fixed right away and apologize to the community for any inconvenience that they might have had. Even though folks are able to use their extra toolboxes today on the event, Jagex has in their short-sightedness excluded those customers who do not utilize combat skills from using those extra toolboxes by only offering combat skills to take down the slime overlord today. To be honest, I don't recall an event like this one in the past offering just combat skills rather than offering a choice between a combat skill and a non-combat skill. By giving a choice of skills to utilize allowed everyone to participate in the event, no matter their style of gameplay. First of all, the reason why the client was crashing, you've outed yourself as a filthy Java user, and that's the problem. Stop using the Java client.
And it was only on one day. You didn't lose your tools. Those tools don't have to be used on that one day only. You're able to use them the next day. So
the main thing is why Jagex didn't respond to any of these posts is because they're not obligated to respond. Their terms of service does not require them to do so, and they cannot. Their actual customer support team is not allowed to provide technical support on a deprecated client. They just can't. So, the only support they can provide on a deprecated product is to upgrade to the correct product. That's all they can help you with. So, good.
I was just gonna say, they're by keeping silent, it's forcing those people stuck in the Stone Ages to upgrade, to NXT.
Good gravy. I want to ask him how good the gravy was. I'm not even being facetious.
I love. There's no one actually backing him up. Everyone could participate. Some simply didn't want to because of the given XP. If someone wants to restrict themselves like that, it's on them. The entitlement is strong with this one.
I agree with Thunder Jinx. Yeah.
How about not limiting yourself to training certain skills over others? Or if you choose to, then deal with everything not being always accessible.
Again, his second point is a completely different argument than his first point. Like, I'm not even gonna bother dealing with his second argument because his first argument doesn't even hold weight. He doesn't even get to have a second argument because I threw out his first argument that he brought to the table. Like, like when you go before a magistrate or a judge or something, and you get dismissed. You're dismissed. You don't get to bring your second thing to the table. You just got dismissed. You dumbass. No, get out of here. Let's fix some shit. Living the dream says. Hi, Jagex. Just thought an increasingly aggravated and annoying player, I feel ya. I'd let you know that you should make the Wilderness Agility course a non-PvP zone. I love this thread. I think I read this thread on my own time as well, and I just wanted to... I had some words in my own head. Anyway, I don't care that it's in 50-plus Wilderness. Well, good. You know what? Gravity doesn't care when you jump off a building either. I don't care if it's in a 50-plus Wilderness, and I don't care what you augment. What you want to be. Why did I read augment? Argument. 50-plus Wilderness, and I don't care what argument you want to make. You mean like it's in the wilderness? That argument? What argument you want to make? It's stupid that the only half-decent agility course between 52 and 70 is in the wilderness. Now, his only half-decent argument right there is fair. Like that, the only intelligent thing he's about to say is right there. That's the only part of this post. Good.
I just want to say, I get that this is a shit post, but like, I understand the sentiment.
Yeah.
Of the only PvP that happens there is griefing.
Yeah.
You're not getting anything. You're just ruining someone's time.
If you are getting the best XP there, you do have you have the skull on, because the only reason that is the best is if you've got the skull. If you don't have the skull out there, then Apatol, Barbarian, or not Barbarian, the Gnome courses are just as good at XP. It's just the fact that you have the skull. That's the risk you take. You're taking out 500k for people to collect off you for that best XP.
Yeah, you're making yourself a target, and that's the mechanics. Unfortunately, it's a shitty mechanic, but it's the mechanic.
Yeah,
I actually didn't know that. I've never used the demonic skull for anything.
Yeah,
neither have I.
And it makes you attackable by everyone of any level. I use it for rune crafting, and I have a methodical method down, so I can't get teleblocked. It's basically I just have muscle memory built in to anticipate on my way to the Zamorak Mage, so when they teleblock me, it fails. So that go ahead.
Worst part about that is the rune pouch loss. I don't give a crap about the 500k.
Right? That's the most annoying thing.
No, well, the rune pouches are now buyable from
still annoying.
Wizard Phoenix. Oh, it's annoying, but at least you don't have to go back to the Abyss and try and get those drops again.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Anyway, 52 to 70, yes, it's super annoying that there's just a devoid emptiness of courses. I agree. Either make it a non-PvP zone, or how about you make a new alternate method other than the wilderness? Yes, I could do Monkey Madness and do that course, or how about you don't make the agility course in the wilderness a PvP zone?
Well, and that's what I said. The Monkey Madness one, I mean, that's a nice reward for a difficult quest.
Yeah,
at that level. So go and do it.
That's the agility course I used.
Wait, people actually used that course
Yeah,
I use that. I use the monkey course for most of my agility.
I thought most people. I used the monkey course until advanced gnome.
Barbarian. Yeah, advanced gnome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Same here.
Throne is 60 to 70. Yeah, you can. Throne didn't exist back when I was doing it, but yeah, the Throne gives you 800,000 experience. I think of just AFK agility
per hour.
No, just in total. Like it gives you 800,000 experience of just.
I was about to be very worried for this game.
That's the empty throne room we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the empty throne room gives you just a flat 800k XP after you've been there for like a week straight.
Can you imagine 800k agility XP an hour AFK?
I would love that.
Yeah, well you can. Silverhawks.
Yeah, just not even with Silverhawks. I don't think there's any way to get 800,000 agility XP an hour.
When Silverhawks first come out.
Actually,
I remember the broken thing of those boots.
They were pretty broken when they first came out. Maybe celebration lamps. When that happens, you might be able to get a ridiculous amount of. When celebration lamps come around, I'm gonna just dump 1 billion gold into them and see what happens.
MTX doesn't really count as a XP per hour kind of thing.
Yeah, well, that's life
in the game.
Anyway, so I agree. I mean, the game needs more agility courses. I'm all for more agility courses.
Yeah. And more variety, as in not just the same type of thing.
Yeah.
That's why I love rooftop agility over in old school. That was fun. But again, even that does start to get boring after a while. But you can sort of bounce around and do different ones. See different areas.
I want agility courses that are going to take me to different places in the game.
I want to bring up here, you had an idea in the pre-show, and I'd like you to tell everyone about that here, about linking it to your daily runs.
Oh, yeah. So, it's a hybrid of the idea of, like, the whole world course, where, like, you'd run a whole agility lap around the entire world, but instead of that, it was an agility course that's more built around the dailies of RuneScape. So instead of using your lodestones, there's an agility course that's built around like the sandstone and your farming run areas and stuff like that, like your main dailies. So if you wanted to, like at each checkpoint, you'd get like a hefty agility bonus, but those are long things to run and whatnot. So like you
wouldn't be allowed to teleport.
Yeah, there'd be no teleporting. Like you would not be. And the second you used a lodestone or a teleport, it would break the chain involved in it and whatnot. You'd only be able to do it once a day. Like it would be a daily event that you would do to do your dailies. And yes, again, dailyscape, that would obviously be a red flag for some people. But I don't know. It would be an interesting way to get around the game and give people a way to interact with agility, and already incorporate into dailies. Like criminal bolts was, I think, another one that I had in mind. Was like running around from each different bloodwood tree, being able to just kind of take an agility course around the game to those. And if there were just like different routes that kind of mapped off of each other and just spidered around the game.
Remember the agility course we were going to have
like a train network? Yeah, it was
going
to go
area,
across
not just a little Heffen one, but around the whole place.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. You can kind of see that Pyrnassius is almost designed for it. Good.
The thing about the bloodweed thing you said is, do you remember the Meyer Ditch quest series and the maze that is that place? If you couldn't, before you get the Dracon's medallion.
Yeah, it's hell.
Yeah. Like, they'd have to add some skips.
Course.
Yeah, but that's compact. It's compact altogether, and it's made to be a maze. Like,
yeah, but I mean, you said you can't teleport or it'll break the chain, which I agree with, but the bloodweed tree is through that.
Oh, maze. Yeah, that you're right about that. And I didn't.
Details would have to be ironed out.
Details would have to be ironed out with that one. And I'll be honest with you, I actually skipped that tree. I never do that tree in my back bowl run, so I didn't think about that one. And you know what?
Why did you do that tree?
Why don't I do that tree? Just because I don't like it. I don't like it. I got something against that tree.
Drakan's medallion straight there.
I know. I just don't want to. I don't like going there.
Well, I don't even... I lodestone to Canifis first and then Dracon's medallion so that it doesn't drain.
Yeah. You can.
You're just a vampire racist.
Maybe. They yell at you about being human and stuff, and I don't like it. I feel persecuted.
You think they're racist against you for being human?
They are. They can smell me. Anyway, next topic.
Actually, no, I just want to go on about with this guy because we sort of cut it off halfway through.
Yeah, I know. It's because he didn't have anything important to say. It's an essential
skilling area. It's not PvP area, and therefore I should not have lost 4 to 5 million because some toxic 15-year-old decided it would be fun to camp the agility course.
Why did you have
and the random luck with the daily. Yeah, how about we do away with that, yeah? Like, you can keep it random, but how about a hint or something on where stuff is? I love RuneScape, and I like all the updates you guys make, but let's leave PKing for OSRS, okay? Like, love you guys, love your game, but I'm really not loving not being able to train a skill due to being PK'd in an area that I shouldn't be getting killed in. It's not hard to make it a non-combat zone. Sorry if I'm a little annoyed right now.
Question.
Yes.
Why 4 or 5 million gold in the wilderness?
10 skulls.
That's how you truly get the best XP. Just like you load one in each slot, one in each inventory slot.
No, but he's obviously been killed 10 times. He's running around there, someone kills him.
Okay.
Goes and buys another skull, goes back out there, runs for 10 minutes, gets killed.
All right, I get you.
Wait.
I was completely This is another one of those get more XP when drunk scenarios.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that one. That was the best one. That was even better than your map of Europe being.
I agree. That was a complete logic breakdown on my behalf. A complete semantics failure. I thought he meant he lost 4 to 5 million on a single run. Like, what are you carrying in the wilderness? It's 4 to 5 million gold.
I heard 45 million, and I was like, he stayed there for 90 deaths.
He was persistent to say the least.
Yeah.
I just hit 50 million XP in divination, just getting the fire thing.
Oh man! Oh, nice XP. I appreciate you holding off on getting the pet, giving me a chance to catch up.
No, it's not fair. 40 million XP this month. I'm starting to get annoyed now.
Are you feeling a little bit like living the dream? Aggravated and annoyed player?
Yeah. No, I do love how rare. I just hate seeing these, sub 99s getting it all the time.
Yeah, you sub players. Those are my freaking boys.
But yeah, I thought that was funny. Just like, it's easy. Go and find another agility course.
The ape.
Whatever happened to them updating the Brimhaven one? Remember they were going to do something with it because I love the Brimhaven course. But I would, I wanted higher XP and, better rewards for the tickets and things. But I'd love to get back down there.
Yeah, I would love to see. You know what I want them to bring back and make useful is the Warriors Guild. I liked the Warriors Guild a lot. I spent a lot of time in there killing reanimated rune back in the day and cyclopses.
I loved hunting for that dragon defender through the Cyclopses. Just having to go up and get your bronze and your silver, your steel, and just moving up through all the levels. Addy, rune, and then you just got that rune one. You're just waiting and waiting for the dragon defender to drop.
That is one thing I'm sad about. That defenders are really kind of useless now. They were so Such an interesting concept.
Let's make defenders great again.
Impossible. If you're gonna put tank perks on power armor, how are we gonna fix defenders?
We're
We're gonna put power perks on
defenders.
There you go. Put like a massive bleed effect on all defenders. That's what poison needs to come back in a major way. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
But against the
Heard of
player.
them?
Yeah, Cinderbanes are great, but like it needs.
Against the player.
Against
Venom
the
blood.
Yeah.
Venom blood
mate,
doesn't matter.
You don't even worry about poison off anything other than
Every set of gear I own
Horrific.
has Venom blood on it.
the guy down at in the elite. In the God Wars Dungeon 2.
The guy down in the dungeon.
God Wars Dungeon 2. Yeah, but I mean, you get poison, it's hitting you for like 30, and then it's finished. It's like, who cares?
People, people use them with Acto. Very niche. I'll never have Acto. Never say never, I guess, but anyway.
I will never have Acto. I'm very comfortable saying never.
You don't like raids?
I've never ever done them. Never had any urge to. Don't know anybody who does.
Yeah, me either. I mean, I don't know. Someday I might spark
Oh
an
my
urge.
god.
What?
There's a guy down here. I've got my mouse to click every 60 seconds. Could I get banned?
Just tell us your RSN and we'll let you know.
Oh no, he's here. His name is. Can I say his name on the podcast?
I don't care.
I thought it was on.
His name is. He's got the title The and Creation God, and he's claiming he's got an auto clicker on his mouse.
Idiot.
Everyone's telling him he's gonna get done. No. This is actually in game.
Why would you do that? Like, why would you admit to that?
I know.
It's probably like his little brother. He's probably in the bathroom.
Guys, my auto clicker turned off. What do I do?
Anyway, how about a noob's thoughts on RuneScape 3? I've been hanging on to this story for a while. It's by the real boss, who says, for some backstory, I started playing RuneScape in 2006, and I quit a couple years ago, but came back again with a new account, but quit again sometime after EOC came out. I was always free to play, but really wanted membership badly. My parents were not that well off, so I couldn't really ask for them to get me membership. So I, being a dumb little angsty preteen, would try to mooch off my friends' parents' broken credit cards thinking they would work. Obviously, they didn't. Throughout college, I played a lot of League and Warframe. I almost completely maxed out my character on Warframe, and the devs would take forever to release endgame content, so I temporarily quit to allow them to release new stuff, and I could do it at a later time. I still played League, but eventually quit because I hit hard ceiling at Plat 1 and realized I was wasting so much of my life on a game I would never be amazing at. After graduating, I found myself with a hole in my heart. I'm not a hardcore gamer, but I always need to have a video game in my life. Then you are a hardcore gamer. I wasn't having fun in League of Legends or Warframe anymore. I don't really know why I decided to come back to RuneScape, but I did. When I did, I found that there was a ton of new things to do, but most importantly, I could become a member absolutely for free. This is what drew me back in. My highest level account was about 70 combat, with the highest combat skill being magic at level 60, and the highest other skill being smithing at like 65 or something. I forgot the exact level, but it was high enough to smelt addy bars. I started and finished all the new free-to-play quests in a few days, which were actually really well made. My favorite was the really meta one where you go underground or something and see a bunch of boss monsters, including Claudia, where the reward was Crispy the Cabbage, rather. By this point, I'd fallen in love with dungeoneering, but had hit the cap on free-to-play floors. Also, at this point, I was looking at the ways to earn money at my levels, the best at which was smelting adamant bars. I got enough money to buy my first bond. I was so scared to redeem it, though, because I was afraid if I wasn't playing constantly, I would be wasting my membership. I looked up all the best things to do as a member, and most people said questing. So I redeemed the bond, and I did as many quests as I could. And man, were they fun. I slowly started gaining levels in member skills and introduced myself to the glory of Slayer, and I got a challenge of killing Zamorak followers in God War 1. I couldn't touch the Bloodveld. It's been all I could do since becoming a member. I don't even mind the fact I still have quests left, other than Plague's End, which I need 75 construction for, with Helms of Foulness and Kneeling. The Mauritania Slayer Tower is the greatest thing ever at my Slayer level. The thing I love the most about RuneScape is that there's always something to do. Something to gun for, something to look forward to. Currently, my main goal is getting 75 construction and prayer for Plague's End because of Prif. I also got a master clue scroll that I've been stuck on, needing 91 thieving to steal some clothes from some dude in Prifdinus. I've never been into boss. Did I just skip over that? No, I've never been into bossing, but that's potentially a path I can go down after I accomplish my main task of gaining access to Prifdinus. Anyways, you're probably wondering what the point of this post is. There really isn't any. I just wanted to express to the community and hopefully Jagex that they've created a wonderful game that is completely playable by any and all types of people, especially for someone who has never spent a dime on RuneScape. I've been able to access all content completely for free. That's amazing. And there's always new content coming to look forward to if you're maxed, which I have a long way to go for. I know Jagex gets a lot of crap, but I hope they know that this is... I hope they know that this game is fun. I don't care what other people say. Some say they're just addicted and can't stop. Others say they play on the background while they're doing other things, which is another reason why I love this game. But RuneScape has been with me since I was 9 years old, and I'm now 22 with a job that pays well, and I still don't have to pay a single penny to experience RuneScape at its fullest. So thank you, Jagex. Thank you for making this game something that I can always play and find more stuff to do in. This post will probably get slid under better ones that some people are more interested in, but I always wanted the community and hopefully the devs to know that I love this game. Good luck to all of you in your skilling, questing, bossing, and whatever you want to do in this corporeal beast of a game. Can't wait for the mobile to come out. Peace. It's a nice feel-good story.
Yep. And he said exactly this right thing. You know, it's a game for fun, and it is. It opens to anyone. Skillers, PVMers. You know, you just want to sit there and fight bosses, or just kick back, make a bit of GP, do some AFK stuff. It's got something there for everyone. And of course, the best thing of all, quests.
Yeah, lots of quests. Lots of good quests too. The quests have, in my opinion, gotten better. The quality has gotten significantly better over the years. Not that they were ever bad, but they've gone up in quality. We got one more post today. It might be your friend.
We saved the best for last.
Yes. And this is entitled, pardon me, auto-clicking is major offense, in case you were unaware. So, it says here, found out the hard way that auto-clicking with my new gaming mouse is on par with those buying dedicated botting software for crazy GP. Major ban! F my life, 10 years maxed account, 99.999999 legit play. Don't think to save yourself some time and disassemble 40,000 maple logs yourself. It's just not worth it. Rip, see you all in another game. Edit. This is just a reminder for those of you who don't know or question if this is a perm ban type of offense in the future. Almost all quest points purchased hundreds of MTX keys, prepaid membership, There is absolutely no exceptions to macroing and who you are. They are all no money-hungry cash grabs. What is he talking about? I don't even know what the hell he's talking about. Basically, he auto-clicked, and he thought he posted somewhere along the lines here where he knew he was gonna get a ban, but he thought it was only going to be temporary, which I thought was hilarious. That was my favorite part of this, where he was like, he said, I knew, in one of the comments down here, replying to
that's
somebody.
what I was going to say. It's in the comment.
Yeah. I just can't, which comment is it?
It says, he was replying, Reddy says, you've played for 10 years and didn't know auto-clicking was bannable. He says, I knew it was, but figured for 40k Maple Disenchantments, a minor ban would be worth it. Hope no one makes a stupid assumption like me, thinking there are always more worse people to get caught. Don't weigh out the pros and cons of something that is against the rules.
Doesn't have to worry. I think it's hard for someone to make that stupid of an assumption.
Seriously.
And that's what I made the joke earlier.
What's going on, Nancy?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I had a couple of beers before I drove home, but I'm just around the corner. I didn't know it was a major offence and I was going to kill someone.
Yeah, it's like, come on. It's the stupidest offense I've ever heard in my life. I knew it was against the rules. I figured I was just going to get a slap on the wrist. This is the crumb defense. This is literally go ahead.
Jagex isn't the Victorian police system.
Right?
You're not going to get hit with a wet lettuce. They actually give you proper punishments here.
This is the same shit as like when Crumb released a bunch of bots on old school RuneScape on Halloween and then was surprised when they banned all his accounts.
Including his main one.
Yeah. It's like, don't expect Jagex to go easy on you when you break the rules. Anyway.
And when people tell you rules are meant to be broken, no, they're not.
I was about to say that.
I love that. Was one of the best ones.
That's good stuff.
That had us cracking up in the pre-show.
Yeah.
Anyone who, any of our Patreon listeners will hear our actual first-hand reactions to that. Oh, God, yeah. In the pre-show.
Yeah, the initial reaction to that is priceless. Anyway, that's our last bit for this show, I believe.
Let me just quickly have a look and see if the...
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's no way it's already out, but...
No, I was thinking it's a bit early.
Yeah.
But we'll just have a quick look anyway.
Doesn't hurt to check.
RuneScape, they do have one new release. And it is... Get over there. Oh, the RuneScape content reveals. I haven't checked out that yet, so no.
Yeah.
Not up yet.
Yeah, it generally goes up around 1 my time, which is like in 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
Or like 2.5 hours. Which stinks. But yeah, we wrapped up pretty early today. But it's end of the year. End of the month at least. We still got another month to go, I guess, but nothing major coming out yet. December should be pretty interesting, though. I do want to remind everyone, of course, though, if you are in the competition, make sure you get your scores in this weekend. Monday is your last day to report for the competition. Anything anyone else wants to get in before we wrap up this show?
Nope. I will be recording the supplementary Gillinor Origin story tomorrow night, so I'll get that out to you. So that should be up on Monday for everyone.
I'm going to not screw up, and we're going to read Elite's comment this time.
Oh, yes. Yes.
There we go. Not screw up 3 shows in a row. There we go. Just got to load up my comments here. All right. And one of these. Here we go. So this was, I believe, in response to when we were talking about the old school RuneScape having so much toxicity towards us, and why that was, and why they were so like disillusioned towards us. So this was Elite's comment, and feel free to respond to that, and we'll talk about it, and then we can wrap up the show here. So it says, so I originally did find it hard to understand old schoolers like others do. However, as I got older, and among other experiences, became incredibly disillusioned with Jagex and RuneScape 3, I feel like I can get where they are coming from. Now, I can't speak for old schoolers or pretend this is a great deep insight no one else has thought of, but I truly believe old schoolers hate RuneScape 3 as they ultimately believe that that its continued existence is a net negative. It isn't too much of a surprise. There is always a level of compromise between businesses and customers about the product integrity versus profitability. Businesses want a low-effort franchise that can churn out a textbook release all the time to massive hype and profit. On the whole, customers want an engaging, fleshed-out experience. Old schoolers have always been more rigid on keeping what they see as the soul of the game intact, a lot quitting when EOC came out. So it isn't shocking the increasingly microtransaction, lazy XP handouts aggravate them. Which I wouldn't disagree with that sentiment so far as I think RuneScape 3 has definitely broadened its horizons to appeal to a wider audience, where old school, I think, has a much more hardcore audience, appeals to a much more hardcore audience. This isn't limited to RuneScape. TV shows going on for too long with obvious examples of how former fans would have been unhappy for The Simpsons to end years ago, but Fox makes money, so ruins its former reputation into the ground. Spring to mind. I would agree with that. I think The Simpsons is long running, probably too long. I also applaud the creator of Mr. Robot for ending Mr. Robot this season coming up. I think like it's good to end a show when it's time to end it instead of dragging it out for money. Also, you can't get much more current than Diablo Immortal and EA selling pride and accomplishment. It isn't simply a case of entitled or stubborn people stuck in the past. That is a too simplistic picture that only suits the narrative companies want to spread. It is a case of compromising so much that it simply isn't worth it. That certain people would rather have nothing that it be that bad in their eyes. And to old schoolers, RuneScape 3 is that bad. This isn't a side project that they can just ignore. It isn't that for them. It damages their brand. It encourages poor design choices and toxic microtransactions they don't want anywhere near their game, and it doesn't benefit them. And I think that they probably see those microtransactions in RuneScape 3 as a looming threat to their game. And I think, Pern, you even said yourself that old school RuneScape and Jagex and Shandong would be a fool to not put microtransactions in old school RuneScape in the next couple of years in some form or another. Old schoolers would be more happy to have Jagex as a tiny organization back like the very early Gower days. Stockholders absolutely do not, is why the non-stop revolting MTX continues. But RuneScape 3 is viewed as this awful thing with only peripheral benefits that they would be happy to sacrifice. In the past few years, with the low-quality output and just aggravatedly lazy effort on behalf of the management at times, I honestly agree. If you asked me, with the last few years in mind, whether I would choose for RuneScape 3 to wrap up some loose ends than just continue unupdated or have, say, 20-plus years or more of the current management team, I'd probably favor ending RuneScape 3. The current management is so toxic, so pushing of unhealthy microtransaction promotions, so cowardly to tackle the game's problems, releasing so much empty space filling with either nothing or meaningless busy work, with few occasional updates being half-assed and never fixed, that honestly I despise that they get rewarded for this behavior. It's infuriating to see laziness and at times straight up lying never get called out, but repeatedly conning people. I've never given the team plenty of time, but I am done with them for the foreseeable future. So I shouldn't be bothered by their bad decisions, right? It isn't affecting me and other people enjoying it, so it should be fine. But to see something I enjoyed and so excited by at one time becomes such a shell, to see corporate greed thrive and unethical promotions constantly push boundaries when it is already beyond decency, is aggravating. And that is what I imagine old schoolers see when they look at RuneScape 3. There are likely some trolls, but I do think old schoolers legitimately object to RuneScape existing on a fundamental level. They have a very narrow vision of what RuneScape is, and management milking into essentially an abomination in their eyes disgusts them. So, there you go.
Okay.
Thoughts? Go ahead, Fred.
I just want to tackle a thing. I mean, he said, the old school, we're a sideshow and they don't like to see that. Well, I'm sorry, OSRS would never ever have been released without RS3. I mean, they are the sideshow. They had that hardcore group of people. They needed 500,000 votes to get it released. They didn't reach that, but they still released it for those people. The fact that, you say lazy management, lying and conning. I'm sorry, conning. The only cons that they've come by management in the game have been from old school developers. Thank you very much. They're not conning on this side. They are working to what they
You're referring to Mod Jet, I assume. Former Mod Jet.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
Oh, and Mod Reach, former Mod Reach as well.
Yeah. I mean, they object to RS3 existing. Well, I'm sorry, this game is RS3 as it was. It develops and it continues on and it evolves as the future goes on. If you didn't have the shareholders buying into the game, if it was still just left to the Gowers, the game would not be here. I am sorry, there is no way that this game would still exist if it was just that small, totally independent, owned by one guy type of game. It needed, it needed that investment to grow. And none of us like MTX, but I mean, MTX, unfortunately, it is a necessary evil. I mean, for the game to keep growing and for your game in OSRS to get off the ground and be carried for several years until it's got the sort of numbers where it can carry itself, it just really frustrates me. The just the narrow-sightedness. They look at things with blinkers on. They don't see the big picture. The other thing, he was excited about it at one time, and now it's not for him. Well, that's what OSRS was released for. For those people who do have those memories and want to stay in that sort of time capsule, they released OSRS for you. They are two separate games. What I get offended about is where they come over and, abuse the RS3 mods and do all that type of thing. If it's not your type of game, great. You don't have to play it. There is an alternative, which is OSRS for you. But don't sit there and tell me, my game is half-assed. I will point to you, player-owned farms, deep-sea fishing, needle skips. You are it. I mean, we've had some great updates. Yes, our updates do take longer to come out now, but that is because of the quality of the graphics and everything that goes into the game compared to that old game that they used to have. So, to compare the two is not fair anymore. That has evolved into a totally different game to what this game is. They are a separate game, and maybe old school should become something totally, not be called RuneScape. call it something else if they want to have a different identity and they don't want to identify with the original game of RuneScape, which this one is. It's and I get what he's saying. I mean, he didn't like a lot of the stuff that was happening. That's great. I mean, that's everyone has their own opinions and own thoughts and feelings. But the beauty of what Jagex did for the people was bring back an older version of the game so that those who were unhappy had something to still play. And they were making nothing out of that when it first came out. It was costing them money. I mean, when that first came out and they started developing things and such. So, that toxicity that they keep throwing on that side at us. And let's look at the numbers. We had, our membership on this game was sitting, 20, 30,000 at a time, and they was hitting their 80s and 90,000. Yet, dollars in of their profit, 65 million was from us, 30 million was from them. So you've got 3 times the player base, but you're bringing in half the amount of money. Yeah, I mean, it's proven that the money doesn't come from subscriptions, unfortunately. That's right. So, and it'd be great. I mean, if it did, in a perfect world, all we'd have to do was pay a subscription and bang on, we'd be done, and everyone would earn their money and get paid and such. But you've got to look at it, and I've said it many, many times. They are not a charity; they are a business, and it doesn't matter what you look at. Whether it's your milk bar down the corner, whether it's your game designer here, whether it's Reddit, which allows you to post things, they're there to make money. Reddit make it with all their ads that pop up and all that all the time. This game, I mean, the microtransactions aren't abhorrent. I mean, some of the lamp promotions of things, can get a little overboard and such. But when we talk pay to win, compared to the other games out there, this is not pay to win. This is, you can spend a bit of money for a bit of quicker XP, a bit of accessibility. There's a lot of things going on over in that game that's making it a much easier game than it was sort of 5 years ago too.
Pardon me, clearing my throat. This just in, also on the topics of loot boxes. Coming from Business Insider, the FTC will investigate whether a multi-billion-dollar business model is getting kids hooked on gambling through video games. This is, again, coming from BusinessInsider.com. Video game loot boxes are facing a fresh round of scrutiny from United States officials as Federal Trade Commission prepares to launch an investigation into the increasingly popular business model at the request of Senator Maggie Hassan of New Hampshire. Loot boxes are virtual packages containing digital items for use in a specific video game. Most games sell loot boxes for real cash via microtransactions, but some allow players to earn them by playing too. The items inside each virtual loot box are randomized, with odds encountering each item set in advance by the developer. Especially rare items often come with really long odds. In some cases, the items inside a loot box can enhance the player's gameplay, creating an added incentive to spend real money to acquire a digital item faster. Critics of loot boxes business models compare the practice to gambling because the odds of obtaining specific items are often unknown to the buyer, and the desire to find the rarest of the items can lead some players to continue spending money on a game with little return on investment. As more video games adopt loot boxes and microtransactions as a standard, lawmakers around the world have expressed concerns that children are being exposed to an entry-level form of gambling. During an oversight hearing for the Federal Trade Commission, Senator Hassan asked commissioners to investigate loot box practices to ensure that children are protected from habit-forming addictive business models and that parents are informed about other potential negatives. Earlier this year, Senator Hassan wrote in an open letter to the Entertainment Software Ratings Board asking the board to collect data on the use and revenue generated by microtransactions in video games. Quote, loot boxes are now endemic in the video game industry and are present in everything from casual smartphone games to the newest high-end video game releases. Senator Hassan said during the hearing, quote, loot boxes represent a $50 billion industry by 2022, according to the latest research estimates. FTC Chairman Joseph Simons agreed to investigate the loot box model and issued a report. Senator Hassan's comments reference an April 2018 report from UK-based Juniper Research, which predicts that loot box revenue will grow from $30 billion this year to $50 billion by 2022. Juniper recommends that regulators step in to stop teenage gamers from selling items scored in loot boxes or using them to gamble. Hassan also references a survey of 2,865 11 to 16-year-olds from the UK Gambling Commission showing that 31% of participants had paid for a loot box or had used an in-game item to open a loot box. However, in a statement given to GamesIndustry.biz prior to Monday's hearing, a UK Gambling Commission clarified though 31% of surveyed teens had used loot boxes, there was no direct correlation with gambling. The Entertainment Software Association, which represents the political interests of American video game companies, issued the following statement in response to Senator Hassan's comments. Quote, loot boxes are one way that players can enhance the experience that video games offer. Contrary to assertions, loot boxes are not gambling. They have no real-world value. Players always receive something that enhances their experience, and they are entirely optional to purchase. They can enhance the experience for those who choose to use them, but have no impact on those who don't. The ESA...
Can I cut in real quick?
You may.
That comment actually disgusts me.
Yeah.
Like, I am physically disgusted by that throwaway comment of, "Oh, you always get something for your money, and it's not real stuff, so it doesn't matter."
Yeah.
God,
it makes me feel gross too, and pretty much like every like gamer newscaster that I've seen present this has also pretty much like made themselves kind of shudder as they read that line. Like, yeah, you're not always happy with what's in your loot box, let's be honest, right?
Well, I mean, Overwatch, for example, you get stickers, voice lines, you get stuff you're never going to touch, it's just there as filler.
Yeah, you get garbage like 90% of the time. The ESA also said that the ESRB already documents the presence of loot boxes and other interactive elements in video games as of February 2018. Games rated by the ESRB now carry an in-game purchase label when microtransactions are present. Tools for parents to monitor contents of their children's game are available at parentaltools.org. Excuse me. In September, the Gambling Regulators European Forum released a joint statement signed by officials from 15 European countries and the Washington State Gambling Commission, mirroring concerns about the potential connection between loot boxes and gambling. Some European countries have already implemented regulations on microtransactions, leading developers to disclose the odds of winning each item included in loot boxes or discontinue their sale entirely. A Belgian investigation of popular games like Overwatch, FIFA 19, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and NBA 2019 for their implementation of loot boxes ultimately sparked reform earlier this year. Despite warnings from politicians and waves of consumer outrage, gaming companies are seeing larger percentages of their revenue generated from microtransactions each year. While some contend that buying optional loot boxes is ultimately an issue of players' choice, the concern from critics is that, like gambling, the issue is not knowing when to stop. So, that's always been my kind of problem with loot boxes as a whole, is that giddy feeling you get from them, and being able to set a limit for yourself, and knowing that some people have trouble with that. Knowing when to stop. But some people have trouble knowing when to stop. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, Jagex do have a limit on it, but at $4,000, I think that's
right?
A bit high.
I was going to say. Like...
So I remember watching friend when he was doing his pay to win. Oh, I couldn't buy any more. They stopped after I hit $4,000, and I'm sitting there going, yeah, $400? I could sort of accept. 4,000 is a bit on the sort of extreme side.
Yeah.
And I mean, I understand the legality of where they're saying, oh, but it's only digital. It's everyone gets something for their money and such. But I'm sorry, it is that addictive high that you get. That thing, what am I going to get this time? What am I going to open this time? And I mean, Jagex, to a lesser degree, I think aren't as egregious as some of the others, because everything that you do get, I mean, it is useful in game. You can get siege, you can get gold bars, you can
with
get
the advent of the ornament store. I would compoundly agree with that now.
Yeah, but still, I mean, if there are some, when they were doing the outfits and such, I'd buy a bond now and then because I'd get a couple of the outfit pieces and I'd want to get the next piece. And I love that they're now earnable in game, and I think that is something that they should continue on with. But I think if they keep it purely cosmetic, it's not so bad. It's when they do have some proper in-game influence, like XP lands. Bonus XP, I'm not so much on, because you still have to pay to sort of get that out. But when you can sort of drop $400 and pick yourself up 2 or 3 million XP, I think that's where sort of it does start to blur those lines. And we'll wait and see what happens out of this. I mean, it's good that they are looking into it, and it may sort of start to rein back some of the more egregious things. And Jagex, we know, are already looking at different things other than sort of the loot box type of thing, like the rune pass and such, which I think is a much better method, because you can see exactly what you are going to get when you pay for it and move along. And we'll wait and see what happens. But certainly to claim it is not gambling and it is not addictive, they do have it right there with some people.
Do you want to add anything to it? Go ahead.
The problem that I see with that argument: ask literally anyone who has spent, we'll say $400 or more on loot boxes in any game. Ask them if they think what they've gotten was worth that amount of money.
I generally feel regret.
I cannot think anyone, pretty much, in any game that has randomized loot, except maybe RuneScape if you're like maxing, I can't think of any other game with like a loot box type system where someone would say, yeah, I'm so glad I spent $1,000 to get this one Tracer skin, to get this one Hearthstone card.
Yeah, I don't think that
no, that's exactly why it is. Yeah.
So the idea that you get value for your money is just a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it is, and that's what I'm saying. By definition, what they're saying is correct, but it is not.
Yeah. Well, what they're saying, legally, what they're saying is true. The legal definition of value is being satisfied here. But by no means is the the Webster's definition of value being filled here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. Do you feel satisfied at the end of your $400? Yes or no? Definitely no. I mean, if you spent $400 to get a pixel, it's like, did I really just blow through $400? And that's why even watching a friend's pay to win series, I felt physically sick watching that, seeing that he dropped $15,000, and it's just like, and we know where all that money comes from now. His real world trading side job, but. But it's just I mean, I think RuneScape do it in a better way than a lot of the other ones, but it's still not perfect. And if we can get something better where they can still get their profits, but keep people happy and not in that sort of not take a risk of gambling. And and that is the thing. I mean, they can say what they like. People can get addicted very easily, and that rush that you do get, the endorphins that are released from getting that big prize and such, people will continue to chase that.
Yep, they will.
Okay. Is it okay if I
You go.
Talk kind of long-winded.
Yeah, go for it.
I kind of want to say something briefly about a friend, and then go back to the Reddit post briefly, and then I'll wrap up what I'm saying with the loot boxes after that.
Go for it.
So the thing about a friend, turns out we found out, not that this, I'm not saying this is excuses anything, this is just, I found more reasoning behind what he did.
The donations.
He is having a kid, and he found out he was having a kid at about the same time that he did the videos that got him banned.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just...
That makes it even worse than what he's done. He's risked his actual livelihood.
Well,
taking
on the
that and doing
contrary,
that?
he took quite a large sum of money to secure his immediate future with his child. So that's what I see from it.
And-
I'm not...
And could have destroyed his YouTube channel. In the
Yeah,
He
I'm
did
not-
destroy his YouTube channel, yeah.
I'm just saying there's a little bit of... It wasn't just like dollar signs in his eyes.
Fair.
It was
I just
somewhat
think,
more than that.
I think I just think it's, in my opinion, it's the equivalent of being like, oh shit, I'm about to have a child, let me go rob a bank.
Well, yeah. And again, I mean, what could he have made out of it? Say they paid him $100,000 to do that. I mean, you've got a YouTube channel that's probably earning you $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year. So you've taken that money for a big up-forward lump sum like that, but you've destroyed.
Yeah,
Really?
I didn't want to open up the whole can of worms. I just wanted
Oh, no,
to-
that's okay. But
Yeah,
so
it's
that's
fine.
that is good
new
to know.
information came to light.
Yeah,
This is what a podcast is for.
yeah, and it makes me shake my head even more in wonder that he would take that sort of short-term gain for the long-term pain.
Well, that's he's young, and that's honestly that's what you think about when you're young. I probably would have done the same thing at his age.
What was it? Oh, the Reddit post. So the Reddit post that was, what was his name? Elite wrote the Reddit post.
Yeah.
What I've noticed in a lot of games recently, and I've been a part of it in some games too, not so much RuneScape. I'm not a doomsayer of RuneScape, but World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, League of Legends, Overwatch, I've witnessed a lot of gamers becoming very dissatisfied with the games, and it's like kind of doomsaying, like, oh, the game's dying and the company's killing it. Like,
Sure. Yeah, it's pretty common.
it's very common, like
Yeah.
so common
Traded against
that-
company.
I'm not sure if it's... And the thing is, like, the popularity of old school RuneScape, classic WoW, makes me wonder if it's just, us old farts getting to the age where it's us that's, we're the ones who are the problem. And by we, I just mean people who
Yeah, I know
have
what you
ever
mean. Yeah.
said stuff like that about a game.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. That's why. That's generally why I mostly just sit back and watch this stuff unfold.
Yeah, because I was part of that crowd, especially for League of Legends, less so for Overwatch. But like saying, "Oh wow, like they're destroying this game. Look at how unfun all this stuff is."
I also,
The more
if
games
I-
I play, the more communities I get part of people saying those same things.
I did also watch EA destroy like 1 million of my favorite game companies. So there is precedent
So-
for game companies destroying my favorite games. But yes, I agree with you. Go ahead.
What I just was saying was, I'm not sure if it's the corporatization, as time goes on, more and more the games industry just becomes more corporatized and less, personal and creative.
That's a
Or if
possibility.
it's us, people like me, like remembering the fun that I used to have, and this isn't the same fun, therefore I'm dissatisfied with the direction things are taking.
That's an
Oh, I don't-
interesting outlook as well, yeah.
I don't-
How much
I don't know
of-
which one it is.
How much are we trying to compare RuneScape to the RuneScape that we remember? Like, how
Yeah,
much are we
that's-
trying to relive our nostalgia?
Judging by
yeah,
the success of old school RuneScape, the classic WoW, that's going to be coming out, that was hugely like awaited, and I think there are other games that if a classic server came out, like I keep saying, the big one, League of Legends.
Are you telling me it's
there would
time
be
for
huge
Classic
acclaim
Club
for that.
Penguin?
Honestly, I think there's more audience, at least of people that I hear, that would like to go back to classic anything.
Look at all the classic Nintendos and all that are making their way
True.
back.
Yeah, that too. PlayStations, Nintendo.
It's about the time when our generation is hitting that
Nostalgia.
age. Yeah, where we want all
But I
the
just
stuff
wanna-
from when we were 12. Yeah.
And that's it. And I'll go back. I think I've told this story before, but one of my favourite movies when I was younger was a movie called Child's Play, Little Doll Chucky and all that.
Yep.
Loved it. Absolutely brilliant. And, I found a copy of it on DVD at the shop, so I bought it and said to the kids, "You've got to sit down and watch this. It's a fantastic movie."
I saw it as a kid.
And watched it with them again and thought, and they look at me going, "Seriously, you love this?" And I'm sitting there, and it just didn't have that same what I had in my mind and how I loved it back then.
Doesn't hold up
to
over
watch
time
it
a bit,
again
right?
now. No, and I'm sitting there, and I'm disappointed that I actually went back and did it again because that feeling and that memory that I had of it was ruined by sitting down and redoing it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
That's why I
funny.
always worry about going and I'd love to buy an old classic PlayStation or something like that, but I sort of worry when I used
They're
to play
all
it on my
bad.
mates,
Yep.
It's just not going to be, what I remember when I used to have to go around there to play the game because he was the only one who could afford one and things like that.
Yeah, I have a lot of those same experiences where I go back and play a lot of the old stuff. I'll play for 15 minutes and I'll be like, I think I'd rather watch someone else play this on YouTube.
Games I played as a kid, I'd go back to, and I was very nostalgia filled, happy filled. Like Spyro recently came out with their remastered.
Yeah, that's pretty
old
sweet.
Pokemons I go back to.
But they're
Those are still
remastered.
fun.
Yeah, they're remastered. We're talking about playing
so
the old crusty old
graphics-
versions.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Pokemon.
Like I've hit my old space invaders and asteroids and things like that.
Try to
they
find a
got
TV
remastered
that'll
and
even play a
released now.
freaking.
Exactly.
There again,
Sorry,
yeah.
you had another point.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say, I don't remember which one you're referring to, but I was gonna say there are other games that are older that I still go back to, and still, I don't, like you said, you go back to old stuff and you're like, wow, this doesn't hold up. Like, I don't have that experience so much. Like, I go back and I enjoy the stuff a lot more than a lot of games that I'm playing now. So, I don't like to admit it, but I think I have to admit to myself that part of, my dissatisfaction with the games is just me. Like, it's just, I have to get over it, or I just have to, move on to other games. Like, I don't know.
Games back then was totally different to what it is now. I think if I went back to an old game, I would have a totally different thing to sort of what an old movie or something is. But, gaming itself, it was a much simpler time back then. And we didn't have to worry about microtransactions or, the only people you were competing against were your mates when they come around. Can you beat them at Mario Karts? And can you do that type of thing? It wasn't, all these high scores and worrying about all that type of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it was a totally different feel and a totally different time back then. So I can totally understand why it felt and still feels better when you go back and do it these days because it is a totally different type of setup.
Tying that back to the loot boxes thing, I think the people who would make comments like the one that we were disagreeing with are old farts who don't really know what they're talking about. Like in terms of modern video games and loot boxes and stuff. And
you mean the comment about not being addictive and such?
Yeah, not being real gambling. And I think the fact that it's
exactly
been brought up and that there are
that's industry
senators.
Yeah. They know exactly what they know it's gambling. They're towing the company line.
I don't think so. I think that the people who know it's gambling, the young senators and stuff who are bringing this up are against it. I think as I want to say, our generation, I guess, the younger 20 to even 40 generation gets older and starts gaining more influence in politics and stuff, I think we will see more change coming soon. Within 10 years, I think. Hopefully.
Yeah. I'm 48, and I mean, you're saying the younger generation, your 30s and
Well, as
20s and
opposed
such.
to
Yeah,
the
you guys
60s
do.
to 80s and
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I was going to say, because, that sort of
power.
48, 50, well, I'm closing on 50. I see quite clearly how it is gambling. And these, a lot of these people who are putting out these things saying, well, no, it's not gambling because you get something. They're in that sort of 40 to 50 age bracket. They're running, they've moved up through the companies and things like that. And they're at that sort of prime of their sort of company career. They know exactly what it is, but, they don't want to, they don't want to shoot the golden goose.
Yeah, they're going to milk this as long as they can, right?
Exactly right. They want that money coming in, and they see it coming in, so they're going to fight tooth and nail it. No, it's not gambling. We have this. Watch all the. It'll be the psychologists that'll fight between who can pay for the best psychologist to get in there and argue against the psychology of loot boxes and things like that. It's going to be a very interesting time over the next 2 or 3 years to see exactly what does happen with this, and fingers crossed, it does come out in favor of getting away from that egregious cash grab to something that is, favorable to both sides. It's got, yes, we as gamers want everything to work out our way and such, but we also need to understand that they are a company that need to make money, that they have to find that right balance. They can't be just gouging money left, right, and center out of us. But we also need to understand they do need to make a profit on certain things. So
sure.
We need to find that right balance. And as we said, fingers crossed, it won't be. We'll find something a lot better than loot boxes. And I do think with Rune Pass, RuneScape was on the right track with that. I don't think it was sold properly. They really need to get some of these. They need to get someone, a media person out there who can explain things properly and put the right spin on things, for want of a better term, not just we're trying to do this and this, and we're getting very mixed or poor explanations on different things, and I think that is ultimately what hurts things like Rune Pass and such.
Right. Yeah, poor Rune Pass didn't even get a chance. He got shot out back before it even had a chance.
Everyone I heard talk about it liked it.
Yeah, and I think that their major issue, the one thing they did wrong with that at the same time, was keep Treasure Hunter running that week. I think if they just had taken Treasure Hunter out for the week they ran that, yes, it would have cost them some money for that week, but it would have shown that goodwill to the customer base and let people give Rune Pass a fair shot.
Yeah, too bad they didn't have that power. It would have been awesome if they did.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, if they could have done that, that would have definitely made a way bigger impact.
Right. But that's where you've got to hold your upper management to account, going to the decision makers and say, hey, listen, we want to do this, we want to try it, but this is what we have to do. And sometimes against your boss, you have to dig your heels in and say, listen, this is what's going to have to happen, and show them, and pull out the things where everyone was screaming and jumping up and down and such about, and say, this is the reason. And because bosses love to throw it all back on their underlings and say, well, it was your fault it failed and such. But, if you've gone and you've tried everything and explained to them and told them exactly what, and you keep it all down, there's very little they have to come back, because you can just turn around and say, well, we did tell you, and we prepared you for that. And hopefully going forward, they will do that. But they do need to get out and explain to their player base a lot better. That is the one thing I have with them, is they don't explain things properly.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one. Anyway.
Yep.
My brain
That's it for me anyway.
Spent.
I'll get off my soapbox now.
Same.
I'm
Said my piece.
I'm just refreshing the RuneScape.
No, I still haven't
Congrats
got my
on
fire
50
making pet.
mil, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Still no behind the scenes for December, so
No,
we
I'm
tried.
refreshing.
We stretched. I did my best.
118 fire making I hit too.
Nice, grats. I'm running around the agility course here. I got 357k to 115 agility. So I'll probably just stay here until 115 agility. Rightio then. It's been a good show. I will pop over to do my little end cap thing here. Alrighty.
Before you do that, I just want to say,
yes,
I just switched the stream to 1080p, and I don't remember the animations being so smooth and amazing. Like, it's just the agility course, but like, my eyes are so used to now, the old school stuff. RuneScape 3, oh my god.
It's got all
it
60
looks
frames.
Amazing. Like, it looks fantastic. I love it.
That's one reason I have trouble playing old school is the graphics.
Yeah.
Although I can put up with that, it's just that I can't do combat.
I have trouble with the fact that it's just ugh. On that note, you can find us on many different places. One of those places is Facebook. Facebook.com/RSWeekly. We're also on Twitter @RSWeekly. You can find us on Discord as well. Runescape.chat in your web browser to redirect yourself to our Discord channel. You want to find out where we are in game? We got a clan chat for you. Kill, Skill, and Chill is our in-game clan chat, or runescape.club in your web browser. You want to check out my progress, runescape.expert. Our YouTube channel is runescape.video. And you want to check out the podcast archives, that is runescape.today. If you want to help the show out, patreon.com/runescape. You can get pre-shows, including today's pre-show. I may have mildly screwed up today's pre-show slightly, with a little bit of a pausing in the middle, but most of it will be there, hopefully. I deleted the pause button from hotkeys, so that will never happen again. So, round of applause for Magebit for doing what he should have done like 5 shows ago. Alright, so that will never happen again. We'll never have a pause where I miss half of the pre-show or anything like that. Not happen again. Anyway, patreon.com/RuneScape. Support what I do, so maybe I'll stop screwing things up. If you pay me more money. That's how that works, right? Anyway, that's that. The big special thanks to our top Patreon supporters, including Sudwood and Ricky A. and 12 others for their support. Thank you so much for supporting us. If you want, you can get blogs, pre-shows, and all of our stuff that we do over at patreon.com/RuneScape. By the way, our pre-shows and whatnot do eventually become free to listen to 3 months after they air on patreon.com/RuneScape. The first few, I think, start to hit the availability in January. So just heads up there. Maybe it's December. I don't remember. One of those months, though. They eventually
coming soon.
Yeah, coming soon, though. So there'll be reasons to you'll get to hear what all the patrons get to hear eventually, just months after it matters. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this show. I'll turn on reruns for people who are watching on Twitch. So if you missed any of it and you want to catch the show, you'll be able to do so. Then I'll put on some past episodes after that. So take care, and as always, happy scaping.